afternoon, my fellow beautiful Manchester United supporters. It's official. Rubin Amorim is the brand spanking new Manchester United manager, and I couldn't be happier. People are making a lot, the media are making a lot of the fact that he's going to serve a notice period, which is about 3 games, I think. It's nothing. This is perfect. He comes in during the international break. He gets to settle in, bring in his coaches, unpack his bags, work with the players who are not on international duty. And actually, hopefully we fake a few injuries as well. I hope that doesn't upset anyone who supports England or any other country, right? The more players that stay behind, the better. But for Rubin, this is perfect. He comes in during the international break. He's faithful and loyal to the club that made him at the end of the day. He's got a great record. Now, as far as I'm concerned, he has all this season. He has a free pass this season. I will not criticise him. No matter what team he chooses, what players he drops, I don't care. These are not his players. He didn't buy them. Nobody, no reasonable person can have any expectations on this man whatsoever. It's ridiculous. It's not Rubin's fault they didn't fire Ten Hag at the close of last season when he won the FA Cup. That was the perfect moment. Clearly, right, Ineos wanted Ten Hag out. All this crap about supporting him and wanting to work with him was nonsense. They were just too scared of the reaction of getting rid of him. And at the end of the day, their indecision has killed and destroyed yet another season. But that's gone. We've got our man. So what can we say about Amorim, about Rubin? He's 39, he's young, he's vibrant, he's positive, he's very attack-minded, free at the back, plays with wing-backs. That's good because Ten Hag in Ajax was very attack-minded, played beautiful football. We rarely saw that beautiful football at Manchester United. The step up was too much for him. And this is where I regrettably see some red flags and similarities. Really good manager, small league, big club. Yeah, it's like being in Scotland, isn't it? You do well for Rangers and Celtic, right? Anyone worth their salt should do well for Rangers, Celtic, Sporting Lisbon. Although, before Amorim came in, Sporting Lisbon hadn't won the league, for 50, 70 years, whatever. So he's done a great job. I'm not underselling what he did. With Ten Hag, I was listening to everyone. He's a great manager. Oh, yeah, it's great, brilliant. But this time I'm going in on this with my eyes wide open. I think I've got like Ten Hag. I've got whatever. If there's a condition after experiencing Ten Hag for 2 or 3 seasons, I think I've got that condition. So now I'm going to take a step back and say that Amorim is brilliant. I don't know if he's the right man. He is young. His stats, his CV speaks for itself only at 39. Really good player, really good manager, but there's a difference between Sporting Lisbon and Manchester United. Like there's a difference between Glasgow Celtic and Glasgow Rangers and Manchester United. And there's a difference, between Ajax and Manchester United, as Erik Ten Hag proved. So I'm happy this is done. I don't have an issue with, him serving notice. I respect his loyalty, and I think that's fine. And as I say, I'm hyped and excited about this situation, but we must go into this. We must calm down, right? Oh, he's going to do this, he's going to do that. I see everyone. I see the United stand, Alice Talks Football, Beth, everyone saying he's going to keep this one, this player, he will play really well for him, blah, blah, blah. You're not Nostradamus. Nobody knows who he's going to want to keep and sell. But unfortunately, the internet side of United pundits and fandom is always about who we're going to get rid of. We need the biggest squad possible, full of quality. So our first instinct, and his first instinct, shouldn't be to get rid of people unless he's got ready-made replacements. Here's the reality of the situation. The January transfer market is for desperados. And obviously we are desperados. Look at the position we find ourselves again. But I think we're just going to have to cope with what we've got. He may want to delve into the market and get a left back, something we should have done in the summer. Everybody said that, but we didn't. Now, obviously, for the criticism about the players we've bought, which were mainly, Ten Hag's picks. What's his name? How do you say his name? Ugart or whatever, the midfielder? Ten Hag never played him. If I was a cynical man, I would suggest that Rubin actually knew he was coming and decided to get him in. So they probably said to him, look, Rubin, we'll sack Ten Hag eventually. He's gonna string himself up. We'll get rid of him. We don't know when yet. Just hang on in there. And I think that's the situation. It's obvious. It's obvious that Ugart, or however you say his name, was, because he knew him. He was at Sporting, right? Or whatever, right? So he knew the player. And Ten Hag never played him, barely played him. There must have been a reason for that, because Ten Hag didn't want him in the first place. It's obvious, right? And so, he's going to be a big player for Rubin. So that's exciting. He's a really good centre midfielder. The other players are all world-class players. So no matter who picked them, they're there. They can do a job. Obviously, it's not a perfect situation. If they fired him in the summer after he won the FA Cup, Rubin would already be there and we wouldn't have any issues. But unfortunately, that's common sense. Manchester United and Ineos listened to, online content creators and pundits, people on Match of the Day, people on Sky Sports News. Give Ten Hag a chance. Oh, I don't like to see people sacked. Any industry that is successful, and anyone in any industry that's successful, isn't emotional. They're ruthless. And I'm sick to death of these nicey people saying, I don't like to see managers sacked. If a manager is putting our club in harm's way, and I'm not saying that Ten Hag wanted to hurt our club, but clearly, because he wasn't good enough and the step up was too much for him, he was becoming illogical. And he was making illogical decisions. He tried to do everything. And, people think that Fergie did everything at Manchester United. No, Fergie was intelligent enough to delegate in the right places, but he knew everyone's name, right? And this is the thing he kind of educated his players about, don't be an arsehole. Make sure you know everyone. Make sure you're humble. But Fergie delegated. Yes, he was the manager. Yes, he was in complete control of everything, but he didn't do every little flipping job. Like Ten Hag took that literally. He wanted to do everything. He worked really hard. He was a worker. He's gutted that he's been fired, according to Ruud van Nistelrooy, and I'm sorry for him. And he's still going on to Ruud about those 2 trophies. Erik Ten Hag's a bit like Ross Geller in Friends. Keep on telling everyone he's a doctor. That's what Eric is like over these 2 bloody trophies. Yes, mate, you won 2 cups, and that's great, and that was a good start. But you never, apart from your first season, right, pre-winning the League Cup in your first season, you had a great consistent season in the league. And from the moment we won that League Cup, from the moment Liverpool gave us that 7-0 spanking or whatever it was, we were never the same again in the league. And it's great to do well in cups, but you've got to be consistent in the league. You've got to be qualifying and playing in the Champions League every year. And he wasn't doing that. He got one chance in the Champions League, and he was crap, right? I think Moyes is the guy who's got us the furthest in the Champions League quarterfinals, wasn't it? Credit to David Moyes for that. I know most people didn't like his time at Man United, but he wasn't given enough time. The players didn't back him. People complaining that Moyes brought his own people in. Well, that's what managers normally do. Look at this. Look at what Rubin's doing. He's bringing all his people in. So I never understood that criticism towards Moyes, but he was never the right man. The problem is, all the guys they brought in, Mourinho, Ollie, they were all playing survival football. Moyes, LVG, all playing survival football. We weren't playing the Manchester United football we should be playing. Now, this guy is very positive. Now, some people are saying, Mourinho saying you won't be so attack-minded. But I think if you're attack-minded, you're attack-minded. And the last thing we want is someone playing defensive survival football just to save their job. You need to embrace this job. It should be a good thing. It should be a fun thing. Forget about the legacy of the club. Just be who you were before you joined the club. So that's official. Rubin Amorim is the brand new Manchester United manager. He has my support, absolutely, but I'm not going to simp him. I'm not going to judge him on his past. I'm going to judge him on his future.